Okay, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight for the Purdue MBA Master's Programs webinar on the topic of the study abroad experience. We have some amazing, wonderful students with us tonight to share with you their experiences on their recent Global Week and Spring Break trips. My name is Emily Warder, and I'm going to be moderating tonight. Welcome to you all. My colleague, Brian Precious, is joining us as my chat moderator. Brian, thank you so much. He will be able to answer any questions that you have about admissions, Purdue, the program, anything you want, even if it's not relevant to the study abroad topic. Tonight's chat will be recorded, so we will send you the transcript and archive version of that later this week. So at any time, if you have a question, please use the chat feature, and we look forward to getting to know each other a little bit. So I would like for my panelists to go ahead and introduce themselves with their name, where they're from, the programs that they're representing, as well as if they have an internship or full-time experience and where they had the pleasure of spending their study abroad experience. Kevin?
Hello, everybody. My name is Kevin Clem. I am a full-time MBA student here. I'm originally from California, and I'm focusing on finance. My internship this summer will be in ExxonMobil in Fairfax, Virginia, and I recently came back from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, where I did a study abroad for Global Week.
Hi, I'm Monique Kenny. I'm a first-year master's student in human resource management. I'm originally from the San Francisco Bay. I have a summer internship with Phillips 66 in Houston, Texas, and I just came back from a week in Budapest, Hungary.
Hi, my name is Peter Jacobson. I'm a first-year full-time MBA. I'm from Salt Lake City, Utah. I will be interning at Emerson Climate Technologies in Sydney, Ohio this summer in marketing, and I recently returned from Houston, Texas for the doing business in the U.S. trip.
Great. Zach?
Hello, everybody. My name is Zach Tahiru. I'm a first-year MBA concentrating in supply chain and operations. I am originally from Corona, California, so we have 3 people from the West Coast. That's a big deal out here. And I will be interning with Procter & Gamble in Cincinnati this summer. And I also will be going to India for our TDS Internship experience in May.
Hi, I'm Adam Schmidler. I'm from Indianapolis, Indiana. I'm a first-year MBA from the 3-2. I'm getting my concentrating in strategy and marketing. My internship this summer will be at Exact Target out of Indianapolis as well. And I was in Paris and Rome over spring break.
Hi, my name is Amadin Osagede. I'm from New Hampshire, but I'm originally from Nigeria. And I am a first-year MBA focusing in operations, supply chain, and strategy. And this summer, I'll be interning at GE Aviation in Cincinnati. And finally, for study abroad, I went to Houston with Peter and some other people. We had a great time visiting oil companies down there.
Great. Thank you so much. So we've talked a little bit about Global Week and Spring Break. At Craner in the master's programs, we have an additional week of spring break called Global Week, and that's where we encourage our students to take one of our global experiences abroad that we will talk about here in a moment, or be a part of the doing business in the U.S. trip as Amadin and Peter were, where you essentially visit several companies a day, learning more about their business as well as corporate culture and the city that you're in. Other opportunities for you to study abroad include studying in Germany at the Reutlingen University. And joining us today is Agochi, who is currently in Germany as a part of the exchange. Agochi, thank you so much for joining us. I know the time difference is a little bit different, so we do appreciate that. So if you have questions about studying abroad in Germany, Agochi will be able to help you with that through the chat feature as well. And as Zach mentioned, we have the TDS internship, which occurs during May semester. We talked a little bit about our study abroad experiences. You can see where they're all listed on our screen. We do have the opportunity for them to change periodically through each year. So if there's an opportunity there that you're really interested in, hopefully it will still be here when you attend Craner. However, we're always looking for new opportunities in new global markets for our students to learn in. I'm going to skip to the Houston trip because I do believe a few of our students have a commitment that they need to move out for, but we will talk a little bit about each experience. Just kidding. I actually had the opportunity to participate in doing business in the U.S. last year when it was at Atlanta, and I'm very jealous after hearing the experience that you all had in Houston that I did not get to join. So I would like to turn the table over to the two of you to talk a little bit about maybe some of the companies you visited, how much of it was work, how much of it was play, just kind of tell us a little bit about your experiences.
Peter, you want to start?
Sure. Okay, so yeah, I'll start. So essentially, the doing business in the U.S. trip was more focused on professional development. Like Emily said, we met with several companies over a period of 4 days, about 1 or 2 each day. And we also had some other visits to other organizations as well, such as NASA and the Houston Astros. So there was a good mix of work and play involved, and it was really a great trip. On the first day, one of my favorite experiences was a visit to Kiewit Offshore Services. Kiewit is one of the largest construction and engineering companies in the United States, and we visited their energy division and had the opportunity to tour their offshore drilling platform that's currently under construction there, and that was an amazing experience. And we also were able to meet with several of their board members and ask them different questions. It was very, very relevant to what we're studying here at Krannert. So I really enjoyed the trip. And there was about 12 of us. 12 of us on the trip. 12 of us. Let's see, Dad.
The whole trip, I mean, first of all, it was really, none of it was work. I think it was really enjoyable. It was fun. But I think the core was really networking and professional development. We visited 6 energy companies and 1 technology company. So we were at Kiewit, we were at Shell, Halliburton, Phillips 66, Schlumberger, HP was a technology company, and then there was one more. Help me out here.
You said
Industry is Houston. There's Alaska and North Dakota, but it's not really, it's cold up there and it's deserted. So Houston was really nice. The weather was beautiful. The best part about it is that I got to really see how awesome, like how big the Purdue Alumni Network is. Because when you're down there, you are not alone. There is a very active Purdue Alumni branch association, we actually got to meet the chairman of the association, or the previous chairman. So he came out and we had an alumni networking event. It was just a great impression on me because I really got to see that Purdue is literally everywhere. Even in Nigeria, which is my native country, I've been there on occasions and people saw my Purdue t-shirt and recognized it. So if you're talking about brand name and recognition, Purdue Krannert is definitely high on that list of schools that have that value.
Can the two of you share a little bit about maybe how the alumni offered some advice to you and how approachable they were, and some of the direct connections that you have, because we do have a very active and strong and passionate alumni network here at Purdue and at Krannert. So I think that is one of the nice points about these trips is you're able to meet people that you might not have otherwise. So could you speak a little bit more about that?
Sure. Like Ahmad had said, we really had the opportunity to see that, not only is there a lot of Purdue alumni, Krannert alumni in Houston and around the world, but they are also very engaged and very willing to help out. So, like I said, most of these visits were set up because we had strong alumni at those companies who care about Krannert. And so they're really wanting us to learn about their business and what they do. And in addition to that, in small conversations we had with different alum, we were really able to get their advice on how we can maximize our time here at Krannert and how we can position ourselves best for our time after credit as well. So I really enjoyed that opportunity.
I think that the beauty that I really got from just engaging with the Purdue Credit alumni is that they went out of their way to accommodate us. They pulled other key important people in the organization to come speak with us during our visit to each company. And then we also got to just network with them on a more relaxed, informal basis at the Astros Stadium, which was awesome. It was really great. So they understand that, they understand the value of the education that Krannert offers. So whenever, the impression I got was that whenever Krannert was having students come visit, they were so happy to see us. They were very welcoming and just very encouraging, and they giving us business cards and, telling us to network with them on LinkedIn and follow up with them. So it was just very, very open and warm, and it was very impressive.
Wonderful. Thank you guys so much for sharing that. Peter, thank you. I know you're going to have to leave here in a little bit. So as I mentioned, we will be sending out the archive and transcript of tonight's chat. And should you want to connect with one of our students further, we'd be happy to work with you on that. Let's talk Paris.
Right.
Can you tell us a little bit about what you experienced, what classwork you may have interacted with in your alumni experience, if you had one as well?
Yeah, so I mean, the big thing about Paris was it was a little different than some of the other trips, was that we had a case that we were going to present on once we got to Paris. And so we were kind of forewarned by second years that, hey, spend some time working on things beforehand. And we all just ended up working on it once we got to Paris. So we had about they wanted us to prepare a 30-minute case that we went through a case study that was presented to us and read through it. It's a very basic case. It wasn't too much of, not a lot of quantitative work to do, so it was a lot different than what we were used to doing. And so we all presented on different cases that were around the world. The case that I presented on was from Unilever, their position in Brazil, specifically with detergents. And it was interesting. It was an older case back in the 90s and early 2000s, but there's people presented on Louis Vuitton and another multiple other companies. So I think there was 5 teams that presented. So that was kind of the big piece of the classwork that happened. It was nice because we had, it wasn't just MBAs and full-time like HRs, but we had a number of weekend MBAs and executive MBAs that came in as well and joined us on the trip. So it was great to kind of network with them and just interact with people that are Purdue affiliated that we just hadn't had met before and worked with. So that was something that was unique about Paris trip, and that we saw that as well in Rome. But as coursework goes, the presentations were the main part, and then it was nice to look at a global perspective on marketing as the week went along.
Excellent. Thank you. And we can revisit these topics as questions start coming in, but I want to make sure everyone has a chance to hear about the experiences. Budapest. And joining us, we have Jacqueline, who came from a group meeting, and she also attended the Budapest experience. So say hi to the group.
Hello, I'm Jacqueline Stevens, and I just got back from Budapest last week. And would you like me to tell them about it?
That would be great. And could you also tell them where you're from, what you're studying, and what you'll be doing this summer?
Of course. So I'm from a town outside of Dayton, Ohio, and I did my undergrad at University of Cincinnati. I studied operations management there. And this summer I will be back in Cincinnati at Procter & Gamble, and I'm in the MSHRM program, so I'll be doing an HR internship. And I'm really excited. So on to Budapest. Let's see here. One of the highlights of Budapest for me was we got to go to a hotel there, a company visit. And something unique about this hotel is that they employ all people with disabilities. So their entire business model is focused on finding people who have either mental or physical disabilities and providing jobs for them, because typically this would be a population of people that would have a hard time getting jobs. So we got to learn a lot about how kind of their business model works, and it was interesting to make linkages back to what we learned in class, just regarding staffing and the laws associated that we have here in the States, and then how those would transfer into the laws in Europe. So Monique also went to Budapest. She could probably share some of the highlights she had too.
Thanks, Jacqueline. One of my highlights was one of our courses, and it was taught by a woman who's a lawyer and works at Central European University, and that was the university that we were partnered with. So we would go to Central European University every day and sit in a classroom. There were 21 of us from Purdue, and they would have a sponsor in the program with us as well as the visiting professor or lecturer. And my favorite lecture was labor laws in the European Union. As a United States citizen, I had no idea what happened in the EU and how the different laws from each country, along with the overarching EU laws, could affect labor relations. And in our particular MSHRM class, there's a lot of interest in working as an expatriate, so working in a different country. And just getting insight on what that would look like in the European Union was fascinating for us. And our other company visit, Vodafone, which is a British-owned company, talked a little bit about expatriate pay and a little bit about some of the unique elements in Hungarian pay and some of the different social items that they needed to cover in taxes that would affect a compensation package. So that was very exciting as well.
Great. We do have a question that has come in, and I'm going to let the two of you think about it a little bit. The question was, as an international applicant, I would like to know what the internship opportunities are for MSHRM students. So if you want to think about maybe what some of your classmates are working on, we'll go through a few of the other cities, and then we can talk about some of those opportunities. Great, thank you. Next up, we have Rio de Janeiro.
All right. This is Kevin again. I came back from Rio de Janeiro, where we had a very good mix of work and play in such a beautiful city, right on the beach. It was a great break from the cold winter here in Indiana, so we really all enjoyed the sunshine and the warmth. We did a lot of company visits. We went and visited the Shell branch down in Rio. We also got to visit the American Chamber of Commerce and a construction company that is working on getting one of the more downtrodden parts of the city more up to date for the 2016 Olympics as well as the 2014 World Cup. So I think the most interesting thing for us was just seeing how the economy was gearing up for these two really big events that are coming in such a short period of time to this country, and both the good and bad aspects of that. So I really had a great time. I didn't want to come home, so I ended up staying an extra week. Spent my spring break down in Rio and soaking up some a little more sunshine before I headed back to Indiana. So I definitely had a great time and would recommend it to anybody.
If you follow us on Twitter the past 2 weeks, you might have noticed a lot of hashtag MBA problems as they were on Twitter and Instagram of their adventures. And as you can see, we have the Wish You Were Here signs all over because we do really wish you are here to join us in these unique experiences. We talked about Houston, Rome.
Yeah, Rome it was a different spin. So Paris was a lot of focus just on the marketing of products internationally and taking them from where they were locally, so from the United States over to Europe, and different ways of just looking at how you enter the European market. Well, in Rome, I took a spin towards much more on the innovation side, and Lewis, the university that we studied at, the professors that we were talking to were all focused on innovation and taking Italian products and bringing them abroad. And they're very proud of Italian-made products and seeing how to differentiate them from European-made brands and French brands, and a lot of focus on luxury in that extent. So Rome was amazing, great historic city. Went and saw the Colosseum. Just we walked all over the city. I probably walked 3 or 4 hours every day, just taking it all in. So an amazing trip.
And what was your favorite flavor of gelato?
Their pistachio was outstanding. Oh. So.
Okay. And actually, our representatives from Chile were not able to join us this night. But as you can see, similar type experiences with the company visits as well as some lovely visits to wine country. So we have elements of fun also with a business approach as well, so you can see different industries that maybe you haven't been exposed to previously. Agochi, if you are able to answer some questions. We have students who are in Germany right now as part of the Reutlingen University Exchange. We have 9 students over there, and they have the ability to take coursework that counts towards their graduation, as well as a unique opportunity to be able to study. It is an application program. You are selected based on by a panel of you apply, and then staff and faculty select students to go over and participate in this program. And so it's a really great opportunity for you to travel through Europe, as also to learn a lot about the amazing businesses that are located in Germany, and how, again, featuring Monique's topic about the European Union, to get more exposure to that area as well. So Agochi, thank you for joining us. And then the TDS internship, Zach will be participating in this, and I look forward to hearing all of his great stories when he returns. But what can you tell us about the program?
Well, essentially, the TDS internship will take us 12 students, and again, it's an application process that you apply for and then you're selected for. 12 students were selected this year, and actually we have 2 more in here. Monique and Peter as well will be going to TDS India for the Maymester. So it's an application process, and 12 students are selected to go and work on specific projects. So one of the big guys at TVS is actually a Crandon alum, and he hosts this project. He has been hosting it for about the past 5 years or so. And so I guess I'll let everybody talk about the specific projects, but my project is focusing more on their 3-wheeler market. So TVS Motor Company is known in India for making motorcycles and 2-wheeler vehicles, and I'll be focusing on their newly established 3-wheeler market, which is about 4 years old, and I'll be looking at how to expand their marketing, pretty much their marketing efforts, and how they supply and match demand with their marketing efforts. And we're working on the project right now, so it's a way to keep yourself busy in credit, even though it's completely busy already, but it's a way to globalize your resume. So at this trip will also be, I'll be doing it before my Procter & Gamble internship. So it's a way for me to, since I didn't already have global experience, it's a way for me to say, well, I've done this project. I went to India. I spent time in India with TVS Motor Company, and it will make my resume look very, very good when I get back. And I'll let Monique and Peter touch on it.
Yeah, I would agree with Zach. The biggest plus of the TVS program is that opportunity to globalize your resume and have that international work experience if you don't already have it. And along with that, I think it's really an opportunity to really experience the culture, not only as a tourist, but as a someone working in that country. So experience the working culture of a different country, which a lot of people won't have the opportunity to do. My project will also be very similar to Zach's, focusing on 3-wheeler marketing. If you don't know what a 3-wheeler is, it's also known as an auto rickshaw, which is basically a small vehicle used for transportation, urban transportation within large Indian cities. So mine will be very similar as well, focusing on marketing and strategy.
So last up, like Zach said, there are 12 of us that will be going to India in May. We'll have 3 weeks in May, and I am one of 2 HR students in attendance. My partner is actually an international student from China, and it was her interest to get more global experience. So our program, we've started in February. We're doing a little bit of research right now, my partner and I, on why certain metrics aren't being met for sales teams. And then when we get to India, we'll do a little more traveling in some of our MBA counterparts, because we'll be going to different facilities to check in with managers and workers and to see, day-to-day why things aren't happening based on the research and the findings that we have here in the States.
So there's 6 project teams, and so Monique, I, and Peter have all touched on essentially what we'll be doing, but there's also opportunities for more projects. So whether you're in operations concentration, Monique in HR concentration, a strategy and marketing concentration, there's definitely opportunities for everyone to do a project that they'll feel good about and learn from in the time being.
Okay. I believe, we have A new friend.
Oh.
I think Agochi's working on answering your question, Katrina. If not, I'll make sure that you have her and a few of the other students' emails so we can touch on that a little bit more. But we had an earlier question about the MSHRM international students and what they're looking to do for their internship. So, ladies, can you share just maybe one or two examples of what some of your international peers are going to be doing for their summer internship?
Sure. So internships are obviously a hot topic, and I think about half of our MSHRM class is international students. So some of them have secured positions at this point. Some people are still actively looking, and even some of the students have chosen to go back to their native country and to intern at one of the companies there. So there's a variety of options. One student, she's an international student. She'll be working for Cummins, which makes engines, and so she'll be there this summer. She got her internship pretty early on, I think, in the fall. And yeah, again, there's just a variety of different places that people are going.
Great. And then let's see here. Let's talk a little bit more about internships because I think that's been a big question on the mind. The internship season here starts early. We actually spend the second week of orientation working with you on your interviewing skills, how to navigate the internship search here at Craner and Purdue, and expose you to alumni and feedback and things along those lines. So if one or two of you could talk about the Craner launch internship prep, and then one or two of you talk about your internship experience. I know that you had a great time with yours. So the two of you actually, the two, Zach and Jacqueline, had many opportunities to choose from, and it was very exciting to be a part of that experience. So who would like to talk about Craner launch internship prep? Kevin?
Sure. I think that's one of the things that I was very pleasantly surprised when I came here, that they get you geared up and ready for the internship search the minute you step on campus. They had, during the orientation, we had a mock career fair where the second year students would come in and pretend to be recruiters from whatever company they interned with over the summer, and really get you prepared for the career fair season, because a lot of people coming into campus had never been to a career fair, had never had that experience. So it definitely helped me. As I went to some of the big national career fairs, I was not nearly as overwhelmed as I would have been otherwise. And so I think and then even before you get here, you meet with a career coach who helps you with your resume, gets it fine-tuned, gets you ready because once you step on, you have no time to waste. As the company start showing up on campus within a few weeks of us starting classes. So it really starts off quick, but Craner does a great job of getting you ready for it.
And then who wants to talk a little bit about internship season? You touched on it briefly, but maybe some of the fairs that you attended that were outside of the university?
Okay. Yeah, I can talk about that. So Emily wasn't joking when she said recruiting season starts immediately. I think we had our Craner fair here first, and that might have been that was the second week of class. So not only are you busy with classwork and trying to get in the groove of everything, you're trying to secure an internship. And so people, I think, get hung up in, I guess, the internship search. And if they don't find success immediately, all is lost. I'll tell you, that first career fair, I felt really bad because I didn't find success just here at the first career fair. And then we went to the National Black Career Fair, which was in Houston, Texas. It was in Indianapolis last year, so a lot of the second years who had found success at the career fair said, you have to go, you have to do it. So a big contingent of us went down to Houston to the career fair, and it's going to be in Atlanta next year. So I would advise you to plan now, plan ahead. And I'm being serious. Plan to go to this career fair. Then we had Nashimba. We also had, Nashimba was in Dallas. And then we had the Midwest Career Fair in Chicago. We had career fairs all over the place. As Emily kind of said, once we got into the career fair season and things started moving, getting the groove, a lot of us had great success with a career fair search. So you have your first round of interviews, and then companies, they even come here because Purdue is actually a preferred school for a lot of companies. And some of the names, like you'd be surprised, Pepsi, Procter & Gamble, Shell Oil Company, I mean, plenty of Fortune 100, Fortune 500 companies come here and recruit Purdue students. So once things got in the swing, I actually kind of talked about it in one of my speeches. It was a funny thing that you kind of get used to, that you feel good about, is when you start seeing your classmates walk out of class to go answer a phone call from a recruiter telling them that they just got their full-time offer. And it's really a great feeling to see all of your classmates be successful in that way. And recruiting season was good to a lot of us. And those that haven't necessarily received an internship or a position yet, you still have the encouragement of, I think one of the questions is about the alumni. You have the encouragement of the alumni that you can connect with. You have the encouragement of KPDC. You have the encouragement of all of your classmates who will help you and pursue the internship. And I know everybody in this room, once you get here, wouldn't hesitate. Sorry to just throw you guys out there. Wouldn't hesitate to help you guys out with your internship search. But the biggest thing is start preparing now. Start knowing what companies you're going to want to talk to. Start knowing about those companies. Start your research.
And we go over that more for those who are admitted or considering coming to Cranor, as Kevin mentioned, in your summer career coach conversation. So they offer some tips and things along the way to help prepare. Monique, did you have something you wanted to share?
I did. So while I went to career fairs here at Cranor, I went to Houston to National Black, and I decided based on timing I couldn't make it to the Midwest Career Fair. I actually got my internship offer through a case competition here at Purdue. The Society of Human Resource Managers here at Cranor hosts a 2-day event, 1-day conference, 1-day case, and in the case, one of our executive sponsors, Philip 66, walked up to me after and said, I don't know if you're interested in gas and oil, but we're interested in you. So soon after that, I had other offers from other companies, and it became kind of challenging to figure out who I wanted to go with, but ultimately, I had a connection with an alumni, someone who went out of their way to help support not only myself, but my peers, and to make a case a reality for not only Purdue, but other universities that came. So that really spoke volumes to me, and that's where I'm going this summer.
And speaking of case competitions, that was one of the questions that had been asked. Cranor and Purdue host several different case competitions that you can be a part of. Business-specific or interdisciplinary, so you could partner with engineering, technology, science students, as well as you work on maybe a business plan with the Burton D. Morgan campaign, as well as Cummins hosts a case competition. The Purdue chapter of Society of Human Resource Managers hosts one as well. And then we also compete around the nation as well as internationally. We have a team, we'll include this in the transcript, who had the opportunity to compete internationally for a very handsome prize for business development. So case competitions are a regular occurrence here. We see teams all the time. So has anybody else participated in a case competition?
So yeah, I have. Like you said, there's not going to be lack of case competition that you can be a part of. I was mostly involved with case competitions around here, but of course, these are the people I'm with every day. These are my brothers and sisters around here. So you always hear, I know the big case competition that we're going to a couple weeks at Ohio State. There was a case competition that people went to, 2 of them in Canada, 2 different ones in Canada that people went to. People travel to case competitions all the time. We have another Purdue case competition that's actually a requirement, part of a requirement for one of our supply chain classes. So if you take that class, you'll be involved in a case competition, and those are great opportunities for learning. And as Monique kind of alluded to, there are opportunities to network, there are opportunities to get job offers. It's not, Monique's story is not very rare to, there's times when you'll go to a case competition and companies will be very impressed with you and offer you a job right on the spot. And that kind of even walking around Crana, you kind of always want to be professional and have your best face forward. So.
There was a question earlier about switching careers, and for some of you, that's why you're here. For others, it's a career enhancer. So you have a very unique story. Why don't you tell a little bit about your background and how Craner is helping you, your MBA is helping you develop further?
Sure. So my name is Amadin again, and I have a master's in civil engineering. I was actually going to go ahead and do a PhD in civil engineering, and I decided to go the business route. And it wasn't random. I mean, there was some forethought before and some planning. I had actually come to Cranet a few times before I even applied and just talked to some folks in the KPDC office, talked to some folks in the admissions office about what I was trying to do and how it fit with my life plan, and if they thought I was crazy. And they gave me very good feedback. So that was a very good first step for me, just thinking about how other people that are familiar with dealing with helping career switchers transition to business school. So that was a very good first step for me. And then I went back and I sat down and thought about what I wanted to do and how that would work. So if you're thinking about switching careers, it's very, very common. I think a lot of people, in my class, in our class, there are career switchers. I mean, a lot of the other ones are enhancers, but you will see a lot of career switches. We even have someone with a background in physics. It's just quite common. The plan is just plan about it. I mean, just really think about what you want to do and how that fits into your plan, and it just goes from there.
I'm going to have Adam share a little bit about his background as well, but an acronym that we have been saying is KPDC, and that stands for the Craner Professional Development Center. That is the side of the house that helps you with your career search, professional development, leadership development plan. With the KPDC staff, we have several retired professionals, senior vice presidents, global HR directors, presidents of companies who serve as your career coaches to give you that real life experience. I often hear, well, I'd hire because of the skills that you're bringing to the table, and they give you really great feedback on how to present the best self. But Adam actually is one of our unique students in the fact that he is part of our combined degree program, which means that he has been working on his undergraduate degree here at Purdue, and we have accepted into the MBA program. Can you share a little bit about your experience, your background, and where you want to go?
Sure. So my background's a little different than a number of the 3+2s. We have engineering, a lot of management, and my background's coming from the health sciences. So I've been pre-med for the last 3 years, and I heard about this program and saw that it would be a good opportunity looking to go into healthcare, and seeing that I wanted to be a physician, but I knew that having impact outside of just doing care, it expanded beyond being in the room with the patient and going to establishing how healthcare is conducted, and healthcare administration combined with kind of being a physician in healthcare administration. I could see clearly how my MBA would be levered in this situation. Over the last year, my plan is really diverged from that original plan of being involved in healthcare and really seeing what the world has for me. So right now, I'll be working this summer for a mobile marketing company in product development. So I think I don't know if I've covered your question.
Yeah. You may have heard a train sound, and that is because one of our favorite mascots, the Boilermaker Special, is out and about giving rides to Purdue students, as it is one of our nicest days we've had here on campus in quite a while. So that is what that lovely sound was, the Boilermaker Special. So let's see here. What other things, because you all have recently gone through the process, some of the names that I recognize who have joined us today are admitted students. Welcome. We look forward to having you join us in August. But a few of you I know we've connected with who are still deciding if this is the right fit for you. So as questions are still coming in, what what information do you want to share about your career experience, or what was the one thing that you wish you knew as you were applying to school that you would like to share with someone that you found out a little bit later? So I'm turning the floor over for your comments.
I think the biggest thing coming in here, my undergrad at Purdue, it's kind of a hostile environment being pre-med. Everyone's trying to get ahead in some way. And the community that I had it was very competitive. And coming over to Craner, I mean, business school is a competitive environment, granted, but everyone is here supporting each other. And it truly, as Zach kind of mentioned before, is a family. And you come together and come to this group of people that are incredible, that have your back no matter what. They're there for your ups, your highs and your lows, and are really here to learn and help each other develop and continue to grow in their career and just developing as individuals. So the people of Craner is kind of what I wish I knew more about and understood kind of what this program is all about outside of the academics. You know, we're strong in operations. We have a great academic program, rigorous and challenging, but the people that you study with is what really makes the difference. And you know, you can have a horrible week when it comes to like the academics of just working hard and long, but you're still having fun and laughing about it. You might be up till 1 a.m. working on a case, but you're going to be laughing about it during the case, after the case, because these are just the people that you spend your days with, and they're awesome.
And I have to second that. Like, I come from an accounting background, and so the stereotype for accountants, you just sit in your little corner office and type on your computer. You type on it.
Why would you say that, Kevin?
And I've always been a self-proclaimed like bookworm, and so I came to Craner like I'm going to study, I'm going to get A's, I'm going to go to class, and that's kind of what I'm going to do. But the community here, they will not let you do that. That is not what MBA school is all about. That's part of it, of course, but a lot of it really is taking you outside of your comfort zone, expanding your horizons. I had never ran for anything before, and now I'm the VP of Finance for our KGSA office, and I had never gone on trips with people before, like going to Rio and I flew with Zach down to the Black MBA conference, and it's really bonding with everybody, doing things outside of Craner in the Purdue community as well as the Craner community is a huge part of it, and that's something that I was pleasantly surprised by.
The one thing that I did not know before I came, you know, I fell for the misconception that business schools are typically very competitive and students sabotage each other and all this kinds of craziness. But here, it's been the exact opposite. I mean, we all know each other. We're like a big family for the most part. We support each other and we help each other network and make connections. It's really amazing. So if you want to grow and you want to grow in a supportive environment where you can afford to make all the mistakes you ever make, all the big mistakes, make them here. Because you're not going to get judged, you're going to get supported, so that in the real world you won't have to make those mistakes there where you could get fired or whatever it is that could happen that's bad.
Think about, for those who did not answer, what you would want to share, but we have a question about the National and Regional Career Fairs. Do you have to be a member of that organization? And Monique, what would you like to share about that?
Well, I am a member of the, National Black MBA Association. It turned out that my dues would be less if I were to join for the membership, and I am able to get some literature from them. So I chose to join. You do not have to, but the way it looked to me is that it would be more beneficial for me to join. But I saw Brian answered for NISHIMBA, which is the National Hispanic MBA Career Fair Association. Again, you don't have to, but for me the benefits outweighed not joining, so I joined.
Okay. What would you like to share?
Okay, so I totally agree with everyone. The community and the people here are just awesome. But to add on that, I think that something that has made my experience really special is that I've seen the personal growth in myself. So I've been here less than a year, but I think that, you know, when you consider getting your MBA, or for me it's the Master's of Science in Human Resources, you think about the classes and you think about the credentials, but really how I've seen the past, how many months, 8 months maybe it's been that we've been here, I feel like I've grown a lot as a person, and just been thrown into situations where I've had to make decisions quickly, or had to kind of balance the emotional side of things and the data side of things. And so I think being stretched as a person in this environment has been extremely just a great opportunity. And I think that the experiences here those are the things that I can go into an interview confidently and talk about the many challenges I faced within my group projects, or the successes I've seen in areas of learning that I've never experienced before. So I think Craner is a special place for lots of growing.
And that's one of my favorite parts about working with our students is Jackie and I are getting ready to have our 1-year anniversary of meeting each other, and her growth and development has been very exciting. Zach and I have actually spent a lot of time getting to know each other. Zach lived locally, so he started our program in August, but last spring he came to several of our events, and he, for a while there, acted like one of our MBA students. I mean, I'm pretty sure we should have charged him tuition, but that's the thing we want. But that's the great thing about Craner is we are very inclusive of our students, regardless of where you maybe grew up or the situations that you had, and we want to celebrate your successes and help you through your struggles to be the better version of yourself. So thank you for sharing all of those things. There's been some questions about links and things like that. Brian and I will connect tomorrow and add information to the transcript, so you will be able to see some more detail involved with that. We have about just under 10 minutes left in our webinar this evening. I know that there's some group meetings that our students have to run off to, so if you have other questions you'd like to have addressed, please mention them in the chat feature. Brian or our students would be happy to discuss more about that with you. Another question that we often get is, how do you choose what to study? And like, how do you pick your classes to balance out your major? Because some of you have talked about you're specializing in operations or marketing, and for our MSHRM students, you have obviously a focus in HR, but you have the ability to take MBA elective courses to round out your experience. So if I could have an MBA and an HR kind of talk a little bit about that.
I would love to go first. So again, I'm Monique, and I'm a Master's of Science in Human Resource Management student. So there are set prerequisite classes for the HR students, which is great. And then I also have electives that I can utilize in the MBA courses, and I choose to learn things that I'm not going to learn on the job. So example, Jacqueline and I right now we're in a managerial accounting class, and no, that is not something that I think is fun. However, I think it will benefit me greatly when I get to work, because I will know about managerial accounting. I'll know how to present things to other managers and other executives to be able to get my point across. So I am taking a more quantitative course load with my MBA electives than other of my partners take in the HR courses, but they also take awesome courses like strategic leadership that I chose to skip out on this time. That was just as interesting to me, but I thought that the accounting would just speak volumes for me when I walk in the door the first day. So,
and as we talk about the next step, when you are in your Craner launch, your orientation experience, you're assigned to teams, randomly selected by staff members based on experience, skill set, and diversity. So, for example, Monique's coming in with not as much accounting experience as our friend Kevin has, so they would possibly be on a team together where Kevin's strengths in accounting would help Monique on team projects, and her gift of human resources and training and development would help maybe where Kevin isn't as strong. So there's an obvious play between people's strengths regardless of what the programs are, because we really want to build upon what you're getting and what you are able to gain. So who would also like to answer the
MBA, I mean, first of all, you will have a lot of opportunities to learn about all the different concentrations even before you get here. There's a lot of literature on the websites that you can read up on. You can even email the professors. They have their list on the website, and they're very friendly, they're very open, they're very responsive. If you have specific questions, you can just email anybody, and they will tell you all you need to know. You can contact anybody in the admissions office or in KPDC. You can talk over the phone, so you have a lot of chance to get a theoretical understanding of all the different concentrations before you get here. When you do get here, hopefully you're leaning towards something. When you do get here, you could take a class or take classes to kind of get a stronger feel if this is for you. The awesome thing about Cranial that I love is the fact that you don't have to pick one concentration. You could have multiple. Right now, I'm operations, supply chain, and strategy. So those are the three that that make my world. So you could have multiple, and then you can choose to showcase any particular one if you're applying for any particular job or whatnot.
And the beauty is, like, I'm a finance concentration, but it doesn't mean I have to take 4 finance classes every module. Like this time, I'm taking 2 finance classes. I'm also taking competitive strategy and a spreadsheet modeling class, which I just thought would be very useful in any type of job. And then the beauty of what Emily was saying about like having the groups that are all different mixes is you really learn people's strengths that will help you throughout your career. Like I was walking down the hall and I saw them studying, and I saw the HR people studying accounting, and I was like, oh, they called me to them, and if they needed any help. So you really learn people's strengths, and you learn to leverage those. So, and there's always someone to help you if it's not your strongest subject, and everyone's really helpful that way.
I think the other thing to consider is you might get here and you might not know exactly what you want, but your first 3 mods, everyone's together and you're all taking the same classes, and so through your first 3 mods, you get a taste of everything: HR, operations, supply chain, finance, accounting, marketing, statistics. You take all those classes and you take them all together, so you get a taste of everything, and it has. I know people that were molded by that experience and have chosen to pursue a certain route because of a class or because of a professor that they had. So in that instance, it's okay.
Another point to clarify, we've been talking about modules. We teach our classes on an 8-week module. The traditional university semester is 16 weeks. So as Brian just mentioned, the MSHRM is a 3-semester program. Each semester contains 2 mods. So again, another acronym and language thing that you'll quickly learn here at Craner. Brian touched a little bit on the difference between the MSHRM and the MBA, but Monique, I think, had a comment she wanted to address with that as well.
Absolutely. So as some of our MBA partners here have said, Amadin has 3 concentrations. There are individuals who do concentrate in HR, and they are MBA, so they're here for the 2 full years, whereas Jacqueline and I will step out come December this next year. But they will take their core MBA classes, but then their elective classes, that's when they meet up with us in the classroom. So they'll take things like HR systems, they'll take compensation, they'll take industrial relations, which goes over labor unions, and then general employee relations. And then we have individuals who are not HR focused, they are MBA, but they essentially just want to be a good manager. So they take these HR classes, and then also the Society of Human Resource Managers, a club that both Jacqueline and I are executive officers in particular Jacqueline is president of. We have MBA students participate in our programming just so they can understand more of what HR means. They might not want to work in human resources, but again, they want to know what it means so they can be a better business partner.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, so I see that there's a question about the difference between MBA, HR focus, and the MSHRM degree. And from a job standpoint, it's all pretty much the same. So the students the MBA, HR focused students, they applied for some of the same jobs I did and vice versa. So some companies have preferences as to kind of their recruiting, their season, and so as Monique mentioned, the MSHRM students, we do graduate in December versus the MBA students would graduate the following May. So for full-time, if they're looking for someone that has to start that December, then maybe they're going to give preference to MSHRM. But as far as internships go, I think it's all pretty much the same HR pool. And I don't see much difference as far as the placement and job opportunities go.
Yeah, and as Zach mentioned, the first 3 mods are the same type of coursework. So at that point, it's just how you choose to develop yourself in subsequent modules, as well as your out-of-classroom experience through experiential learning, which we'll spend a few minutes on that, as well as your club involvement. We have time for a quick detail of what experiential learning is, and then we will wrap up today's webinar. So,
all right, I'm actually doing, we call it Eli, Experiential Learning Initiative. I'm actually doing the Eli Project as well. My project is actually with Boeing. So what I have the opportunity to do is we're kind of Purdue consultants, and Boeing has come to us with the problem of they want to reduce their lead time within their supply chain. So what we're working on right now is how do we reduce the lead time in the supply chain? What are kind of, we pour through all the data that they give us, and then we're actually going to St. Louis to the Boeing facility tomorrow. I'm leaving tomorrow and coming back Saturday. So it's an opportunity for me to kind of go through consulting methods. Dr. Lionel, who is our kind of an expert consultant professor here, teaches the course and kind of helps us. He's our kind of our director as we go through this project, and we're implementing things that we've learned at Granite as well as from a professional development before. So it's just an opportunity to do a project with a Fortune 500 company and, you know, get experience outside of the classroom.
Thank you, Zach, for covering for me. So that concludes today's webinar on the study abroad experience, and again, touching on the Granite experience. Thank you so much for joining us. Again, we will send out the archives link as well as the transcript by the end of the week. Thank you, Brian, for your assistance on the chat feature. Thank you to my fabulous panel of current students. You are all so wonderful to spend an hour with us. And to our guests, if you have further questions about the Granite MBA and master's programs, please connect with us. We're always happy to share with you as we can. Have a wonderful evening or morning, depending on where you are, and we wish you the best, and boiler up.